You know, I was reminded this week as we going through some different things and just, I couldn't help with the word blessings. Now blessings, we can sit there and I think a lot of the times we can sit there and we think about blessings, we think about positive things that have happened in our lives, things that we've received, things that have gone our way. And we just think about them in a very positive way. But I got to really start thinking about, what about it when we sit there and say, what if things aren't going our way? What if things aren't going the way that we want them to? Can we still sit there and say that we're blessed? And so I kind of went on a little bit of a journey myself this week on what it means to be blessed. What does it truly mean to be blessed? I came across, in the midst of it, I came across this story. This was a story of a young mother. And she came to a very unique realization about blessings. And I just want to read you kind of a real quick synopsis of this little story. It says, a young mother was standing in her living room when a young couple dressed, on TV, a young couple dressed in designer clothes and standing on the deck of a cruise ship came on TV. They were promoting all the books, albums, and TV shows they had successfully produced. When the woman was asked, what makes you so great? The young mother said, I'll never forget her response. Standing on the deck of that ship, perky in her perfect size 8 dress, the warm Hawaiian breeze blowing through her blonde hair, she gushed, saying, I guess I'm just blessed. And she said, it was like being hit with a baseball bat. Standing in the doorway of the family room, one preschooler tugging on my elbow and the other making mud pies on the kitchen floor, it was like someone screamed in my subconscious, look at you. Your kids are sick. Your house is a mess. You've never done anything in your life. You're 20 pounds overweight and live in a place where the sun doesn't ever shine. You are definitely not blessed. The mother said, I reflected on how insincerely that we can use that word. I thought of the many ways I heard it used recently. My mother-in-law is sick, so I'm sending some flowers. I'm sure that will be a blessing to her. But was that really a blessing or a comfort for a guilty conscience? The church congregation saying, the church is growing tremendously. God is really blessing us. But I thought about the cults that are growing rapidly also. Is God blessing them too? Then I thought of Jesus' use of the word, blessed are those who are persecuted because of righteousness. Matthew 5:10. I wouldn't call that a blessing. I recall the words of a song that were popular in churches around that time, saying, I'm blessed, I'm blessed, I'm blessed. I realized that whenever on-time good happened, people tended to say, I'm blessed. Yet when struggles came, the word blessed was seldom mentioned. So what does it mean to be blessed? I realized that on most occasions, when I heard the word blessed, the circumstances were overwhelmingly good. As a child, I often heard people at church say that they got blessed by the service. In the religious culture of the 1950s, that meant that that person had been overcome with emotion during worship. I found it entertaining, and I knew that the service would not follow its usual routine. There would be no long sermon, and the rest of the time would be taken up with people giving impromptu remarks or testimonies about their personal experience with God. Yet this type of blessing was short-lived and had to do only with emotion. Even as a young person, I wondered if that could be all there was to being blessed by God. I'll have to say that made me stop and just kind of think. That was, again, like I was before, that was kind of one of those self-check moments that I had to stop, and I started thinking, how many times do I use the word blessed in my life? And do they follow that pattern of what she was talking about? Do I only use the word blessed when I'm talking about good things that have happened in my life? God's blessed me with good health. God's blessed me with good finances. God's blessed me with this. God's blessed me with that. Is that the only time that I use the word blessed is when I've received something? And it made me really, kind of like I said, really have to stop and think. And I thought, well, what about the bad times? What am I conveying to people when I only use the word blessed when good things are going my way and happening for me? Are they getting the wrong idea? Are they getting misrepresented about what it means to be, what truly being blessed means? You see, like I said, this is one of those things that makes you stop and think. Even as we look at Scripture, I think there's sometimes that we look at a story and we can sometimes, I think, maybe even miss the true blessing of God in a story sometimes. We can sit there and go, oh, well, this person was blessed. Well, what about this person? What about this situation? So this morning, we're not going to be looking at not right now, we're not going to be looking at one specific passage, but we're going to be looking at one specific person, one specific story. And that's going to be the story of Elijah. And that's 1 Kings chapter 18 and 19. Obviously, we're not going to read all of chapters 18 and 19 this morning. But this is the story of Elijah, about the prophets of Baal, about Jezebel. This is the story in which Elijah goes up to and he goes with the prophets of Baal, and he goes up to the mountain. And they're in the middle of a drought. And Elijah goes, hey, we're going to see who can burn the altar up, the offering up faster. Baal, your God, or my God? Well, so the prophets of Baal get up there and start, and they throw their wood on, and they throw their offering on there, and then they start praying to Baal, going, oh, please, light this up, burn it up. And obviously it doesn't happen. They even get to the point where they're sitting there, they're cutting themselves, and they're just doing anything and everything they can think of. And then Elijah gets up there and he's like, hey, let me show you how it's done. And he dumps water all over it, soaks it. And then he steps, to the point where it's puddled up around it. And then he steps back. And God lights that thing up. There's nothing left. There's no water. There's nothing but just this little puddle of ashes left there. Well, at this point in time, everybody goes, whoa, hey! We don't want to mess with him and his God. Long story short, all the prophets of Baal get killed. Elijah goes out and they wipe them all out. And then he says, oh, hey, the drought's going to come to an end. I see a rain cloud forming. And they finally go up and look, come back, finally when he sees it, and sends a messenger up, he goes, now, go back to the kingdom and tell them to prepare because it's going to rain. Well, Elijah's so excited. I love this part of the story. I love this story with teenagers. I said, did you ever know that the Flash was in the Old Testament? And they're like, what? The Flash? And I'm going, yeah. So there's comic book heroes in the Old Testament. I said, he tucked up his robes up around him and he booked the chariot. He beat the chariot back to the city to be able to tell them that the rain was coming. And he gets back there, and then Jezebel finds out that all the prophets have been killed, and she's not very happy. So she basically says, Elijah, you're dead. I'm going to kill you. There's nothing, you have nowhere you're going to be able to hide. So Elijah turns tail again and runs. And he runs out into the desert. You see, his very life is in danger now. He runs out into the desert. He has no food, no water, nothing. In fact, things were so bad for him out in the wilderness, and all of a sudden everything's just come crumbling down around him, and he prays to God. He goes, please let me die. This is amazing. He just went off of a mountaintop experience, and he went from there down to the valley like that, to the point where he's going, God, just let me die. Kill me now. It's just like that. It makes me wonder how many of us have ever had that happen in our lives. Things are going great one minute, and it happens all the time. And the next thing we know, our world comes crumbling down around us, and we fall off. We don't just come walking down the mountain. We fall off the mountain into the valley. See, Elijah was experiencing complete and total despair at this point in time. And by the terms that we usually use, you would sit there and say that when Elijah was on the mountaintop, we would sit there and say Elijah was blessed, right? God came through, God burnt that offering, they killed all the prophets of Baal, then it's going to rain. Elijah is blessed at this point in time, right? But what about the time now that he's fleeing for his life to the point in such complete total despair that he's asking for God to take his life? Was he still blessed? I think there's some of us that could sit there and say, well, he's blessed because God did send him an angel with food and water each day to help keep him refreshed, to be able to help give him enough strength. Because we could also say that he was blessed because he got into Mount Sinai. He got into the mountain of God. He got into the destination of where he needed to go. Maybe we could even say that he was blessed because God gave him a new relationship through all the midst of this. Because when he gets to Mount Sinai, God gives him instructions. And this is how he goes and tells him to go find Elisha, his new assistant, his new apprentice, the one that ends up picking up his mantle and carrying it for him. He gains a new relationship out of all of this. And we can sit there and look at all of that and say those things and say, well, yeah, maybe he was blessed. But the thing is, when you're in the midst of those things, when you're in the midst of that valley, it's hard to see those things. It's so hard to see those. You don't see those things. You see nothing but the shadows surrounding you, the darkness surrounding you. You don't see the good. Those things so far behind. You have to look so far behind you most of the time in order to be able to see those things. But the thing is, even if we do see those things, do we still simply reduce blessings down to an achievement? Because if we look at each one of those things, there is, to a certain degree, that is something that he had received, right? That was an achievement. That was, are we reducing blessings down to something when it's so much more? See, what if Elijah, I'm just kind of doing a what if. What if Elijah had died in the desert? What if he had been killed by Jezebel? What if that had actually happened? Would we be sitting here now, looking back in Scripture, would we be looking at this going, oh, Elijah was blessed? Would we still use those words when we were talking about Elijah? You have to stop and kind of wonder, would we? We could sit there and say, well, he died while serving God, and what a better blessing. But would we use that to find ourselves in the midst of all of that? You can sit there and say that about somebody else, but can you say that about yourself? When you're sitting in the same spot that Elijah was sitting in, and your life is being threatened, everything is happening, are you going to sit there and say, I'm blessed? When your moment's from death's door, do you sit there and say, I'm blessed? That's usually not the number one thing. Most of the time, we're going to sit there and go, I'm cursed! I'm cursed! Why am I cursed? That's our natural tendency. And I can't help but sit there and go, what about people from the outside looking in? So I can't help but wonder when sometimes people on the outside that look into the church, they don't always understand us. They don't always understand who we are, what we believe, our relationship with God. They don't understand those things because they hear us talking about certain things, just like blessings, when all they can see is hardship, heartache, loss, and so much more. They're coming going, I'm cursed. My life is horrible. I want the same blessings you have. And then so we sit there and say, all right, well, we're going to bring you into the church, and we're going to do this, and we want to get you saved. And now you're saved. Yet their struggles keep going on in their life. It doesn't quit. It just keeps happening to them over and over and over again. And they're sitting there going, why is this happening to me? I came in. I got to know your God. I asked him into my heart. I asked him to forgive me. Why is this stuff still happening to me? I'm not blessed. I'm cursed. And they turn the tail and walk out. It happens. See, they're left feeling like God has abandoned them. Or maybe that they've done something wrong. something to deserve not to receive these blessings, because we're sitting there, we're listing these things off. Sometimes I wonder if we have unintentionally given the same idea and understanding of blessings that maybe even the Pharisees did in Jesus' day. Because let's think about this for a second. The Pharisees believed that when things were going good for you, God was blessing you, right? You were in favor, in God's favor. But when bad things were happening to you, you did something wrong. And they would look at you and they would judge you. Now, we may not judge the people, but they're still sitting there going, well, what did I do wrong? I didn't receive the blessings, so I had to have done something wrong. See, blessings can't be reduced to achievement. There's got to be something more to being blessed than having good times. And let me say that here. I'm not saying that receiving those things is not a blessing. We can't just reduce it to only that. There is something so much more to blessings than just achievements. See, a blessing could take shape in achievement, but while success might be a blessing, one might be blessed without enjoying a mountaintop experience. Blessings exist in the valley as well. And I think probably all of us would sit here if we were really asked that question and say, can you be blessed in the valley? And every one of us would say, oh yeah, I can be blessed in the valley. And then if we ask the question, how? How are you being blessed in the valley? When you're in the valley, how do you know you're being blessed? And I think we have to ask ourselves that. And that starts, and I have to tell you, I started even thinking about that. And I asked myself that question, and I started going, okay, well, how would I explain that to somebody? How would I tell somebody that I know you're walking through the valley right now, and I understand it's tough times right now, but you're still blessed? And they're going to go, how am I blessed? Explain that one to me, please. I would really like to know that. See, there's more to being blessed than having or giving things. See, the presence of blessing does not mean that there's the absence of need. There still may be a need. See, those that are in need can still be blessed. I want us to look at one additional passage this morning. And that is in Matthew chapter 9, verse 36. And I know this has absolutely nothing to do with Elijah, but I think this one particular passage kind of can give us a little bit of insight into something that can help us answer this question. You see, in Matthew chapter 9, verse 36, it says, Jesus traveled through all the towns and villages of that area, teaching in the synagogues and announcing the good news about the kingdom. And he healed every kind of disease and illness. Verse 36 says, when he saw the crowds, he had compassion on them because they were confused and helpless, like sheep without a shepherd. So let's sit here, let's look at this passage. There was a reason why Jesus was needing to go around and do these miracles, right? It says, and he healed every kind of disease and illness. There was bad situations, bad things that were going on. This was not the best of circumstances. You could say that a lot of those people were walking through the valleys, right? They weren't on mountaintop experiences. They were walking through the valleys. And when he saw them, he had compassion on them. That tells us something though too, because when we have compassion on somebody, that tells us that what we're looking at isn't a mountaintop experience, is it? Compassion is not usually a word that we use when we watch somebody having a mountaintop experience. You see, they were confused and helpless like sheep without a shepherd. But there's one word that I want to use here, because Jesus is in the midst of these situations. And that says that Jesus had compassion. Now I want to sit here and make it different. That there's a word here that we really want to focus in on. It says, because there's a lot of times we will use these words and there's a lot of this, or I'm going to go do that, but then it stops there. You see, It can that feeling of sorrow for the misfortunes of others. It can drive us to do something, but when you do it, it stops. It doesn't go beyond that act. Have you ever stopped and wondered, if you ever watch TV shows or you watch movies, and then, especially some of those real feel-good movies where someone's going to serve some people that are in need. You're watching that Christmas special of that TV show that you really like, and they have their Christmas special or Thanksgiving special or whatever it was, and they're going down to serve at the food bank, and those individuals come up and they go, I don't want your pity. You turn back around and go back to where you came from. I don't want your pity. Now, we can sit there on those shows, we watch those shows, we hear about those stories, maybe we've even experienced that. We've gone to help somebody and they said, I don't want your pity. And we sit there and go, well, aren't they just arrogant? Aren't they stuck up? Here I am trying to help them, and they don't want my pity. Have you ever stopped and wondered why they sit there and say, I don't want your pity? Have you ever stopped to go, well, that wasn't pity? Have you ever wondered, well, I don't want to give pity? You see, pity lowers the other person down. And a lot of times it sends the message that I'm better than you are. And most of the time in those situations of the story, you hear that individual say, I don't want pity. You go back to the fancy, well-off area you're in, or wherever you do, and go back to that life and leave me alone. I don't want your pity. And that's the reason why, is because they're connecting with that. That may not be always our intention. Don't get me wrong, that may not be our intention by any means. We may have really wanted to truly help them. Our heart may really be longing to go out to them, may really be breaking for them. But we're not allowing ourselves to be moved further. You see, compassion, we have pity over here, but compassion on the other hand, that's a commitment between both the helper and the one that is in need. You see, it's based on a relationship. It sits here and says, I'm going to do more than just drop some stuff off at Goodwill. I'm going to do more than just write a check. I'm going to do more than just look at you and go, oh, I'm so sorry for you. I'll pray for you. It's a relationship that takes it to a whole new level. Jesus didn't pity people. He had compassion on them. He connected with them. He built a relationship with them. That's what he did. You see, compassion requires intimacy. And that can be a little awkward sometimes, but compassion, intimacy, it goes hand in hand. You can't have it. And that's a lot of the times, I personally think, why we don't ever allow those feelings that can lead to pity never take us to compassion, because it makes us feel a little uncomfortable because it's so intimate. I don't want to be that close to that person. Or I don't want to be that close to God because I don't want him to know about this. Or I don't want to do this that he's going to ask me to do. Compassion brings people together. Compassion is an investment in lives. But compassion is a two-way street. You might stop and wonder, and you can sit there, and I kind of do this one, how is helping others a two-way street? They don't have anything to offer me. Isn't that the whole point of why I'm going out to the soup kitchen to serve, or dropping stuff at Goodwill, or I'm visiting them, or I'm going to go over and mow their lawn, or I'm going to help watch their kids, or I'm doing something like this. It's a two-way street. You see, compassion is a mutual process. I can't help, just a little side note, as I was sitting here going through this, and I was going, sitting here thinking about, we have Nazarene Compassionate Ministries, right? The word compassion is in it. And I sit there and I think about things, and all of our things that we do, it's more than just writing a check. It's more than just praying about it or reading about it. You think about child sponsorships. Child sponsorships fall underneath Compassionate Ministries within the Nazarene Church. And yes, we write a check every month or every quarter to help support a child somewhere in the world that's in need. But we do more than that, right? We write letters. They write letters. We send cards. They send cards. We start communicating. We start building a relationship. Because it takes more than that. See, in a compassionate relationship, each party is both a giver and a receiver. You see, each one is in need, and each has something to give. And we don't usually, if we're the ones on the giving, the initial giving end, we don't usually think about ourselves as being someone that's in need. You know, there's something that drives us to help, and it drives us in helping others, even if we don't know it. You see, we're missing something ourselves. There's a reason why, I remember years, before I ever went on my first work and witness trip, I remember always sitting there thinking, oh, I want to go help the people. I remember going to Peru and I'm going, oh yeah, I'm going to go down there and I'm going to help those people build the church and we're going to talk to them about Jesus, we're going to do so forth. And then I came home and I realized that they impacted me 100 times more than I felt like I ever impacted them. I received something, I'm going to be honest, I didn't even know I needed. It fulfilled something inside of me. It changed me. And for those of us that have ever gone out and done some type of a compassionate outreach, some type of a compassionate ministry, we usually come out of it and it fulfills something inside of us that we didn't know, sometimes that we even needed. But that need is what drove us. It works both ways. I impacted those people I'm going to tell you, when we were there, we had individuals that were driving hundreds of miles to come out to watch these Americans working out in this field because they could not believe that Americans would actually come out, take their vacation time, and fly thousands of miles to come and work out in the hot, sweaty jungle building a church for people they didn't even know. They didn't believe it. That right there just changed the lives of people right there, just by the sheer fact that they were sitting there going, I can't believe that those people were willing to do that. But to see those, and we had individuals that the night we were leaving, we were weeping because we were sad to be going home. They were weeping because they were sad to see us go. We had built relationships over those 2 weeks. And we're still in contact with each other. It's one of the things I love about the technological age. Yes, there's lots of bad things that can come along with it. There's some great things. And I'm friends with a lot of those people that are on Facebook. And I get to see the ministry that they're still doing. I get to comment on it. And thanks to this little button that says translate on there, they're able to understand what I'm saying. I'm able to read what they're saying. But I didn't realize it. You see, relationships have a great power to bless lives, don't they? When we have compassion, not pity, but compassion, and we build relationships with people, and we really truly experience relationships, relationships have the power to bless lives. You see, it has the ability to bless our lives. Without genuine relationships, we are truly in need. I think that's why Matthew made sure to use the word compassion to describe Jesus' response to that needy crowd. That was the reason why Jesus had such a huge impact in their lives. That's why he blessed their lives. It's because he had compassion, and compassion requires a relationship. To be blessed is not simply to do more or to have more or to be free from pain, hunger, or fear. To be blessed is to be in relationships. First with God and then with others. That's the blessing. You see, when God does those things for us, it's not really the thing that's the blessing, it's the relationship that's the blessing. And that relationship is there with us, whether or not we're on the mountaintop where we're receiving those things, or whether we're in the valley where we're sitting there going, oh my goodness, what's happening The world's just, the shadows are just consuming. They're crowding in around me. But if we're still in that relationship, we're still blessed. You see, God had compassion on me. God didn't have pity on me. God had compassion on me. God didn't have pity on Adam and Eve in the garden. He had compassion for Adam and Eve. Throughout Scripture, that's what God had every time in here, that He worked and He did anything in here. It was not based out of pity. It was based out of compassion. Because what is this whole book? The point of this whole book is an instruction manual to help us in a relationship with Him. This is a relational God. It's all about relationships. God had compassion. See, salvation, sanctification, it's not about pity. They were an act of compassion. Because God didn't want us to just stop when we received the act of grace, right? It's not about like, boom, your sins are forgiven, you can go to heaven, I'm done. You stay down there, I'm going to go over here. That's not what God did. God's going, come to me. I want a relationship. That's why we call Him our Heavenly Father. It's about relationships. He wants it to continue. He wants it to be intimate. He wants it to be personal. See, it's our relationships, like I said, with God that blesses us. Elijah's relationship with God is what blessed him on the mountaintop when he was up there with all the prophets of Baal, and when all that good stuff happened for Elijah, he was there with God, and that was the blessing. But he was also with him in the wilderness, in the desert. He was with him. It wasn't the fact that he gave him something, it was the fact that his presence was with him. You see, when you begin to see that you're able to give and receive from that relationship, you feel blessed. See, because we're able to give God something, right? We're able to give God our lives. We're able to give Him our obedience. We're able to give Him our love. We're able to give Him our praise. We're able to give Him our worship. We're able to give Him control of everything in our lives. And when we do that, remember, it's a two-way street. He gives back just as much as what we give. And He initiated all of it. See, I enjoy His presence in new life. And in spite of my ongoing need for His grace, I am truly blessed because of my relationship. And so this morning, as we wrap up, I got just a few simple questions to ask. Or even statements, I guess you could sit there and say. Is if we haven't really experienced that blessing this morning, maybe we've not experienced it in that same way. Maybe it's only been about the things. Maybe it hasn't been as much about the relationship as the things that we get from God. Maybe it's just been a while, and maybe we've forgotten. Maybe God did bless us in a lot of different things, and our natural human tendency is to get caught up on the wrong things and start to sit there and think, well, this is what it really is about. And maybe we just need a little reminder. Or maybe, just maybe, we're sitting there kind of going, I just need a little bit more blessing in my life. And I need to be a little bit closer to Him. I need more relationship in my life. I don't know what it is, but we're just going to have a time here this morning, and we're going to sing through. We're going to go ahead. We're going to open the altars up. Because again, this is like we said before. We want this to be, this is between Him and us. It's a relationship. It's personal. Between me and Him. It's not about the other people around me. It's not about what's going on when I walk outside these doors and I go back into the world around me. It's not about the other family members or anything. It's only me and Him. That's all it is. And that's when we open up our altars. That's when we be allowed, because that is the direct line between us and Him. This is an opportunity for us to just be able to come and lay those things. Maybe we need to lay those things at the altar. I just want to get closer to Him here this morning. See, because we got to remember here this morning, it isn't about receiving things from Him to be blessed. This is about receiving Him to be blessed. So as we wrap up this morning, let us receive Him here this morning. That's the blessing. Not the things. Him.
Deep down inside you, there is something you must do. Let the Holy Spirit make His home in you. Let Him reign, let Him reign now. Let the Holy Spirit make His home in you. When you're walking through the darkness, and the mountain seems too high, when the ocean wakes around you, and the flame begins to die, when you face those times of trouble, but you know His love is true, let the Holy Spirit make His home in you. Let Him reign, let Him reign now. Let the Holy Spirit make His home in you. When the sun shines in the morning, when the stars unveil the night, it's beyond imagination how the world reveals His might. My precious I am treasure, He delights in what He sees. Holy Spirit, will you make your home in me? Let Him reign, let Him reign now. Let the Holy Spirit make His home in you.
Dear Heavenly Father, Lord, as we just wrap up this morning, as we wrap up this time that we have together, Lord, may we just remember that it's all about you. It's all about our relationship with you. It's not about the things that we get and we receive, Lord, but the true blessing is knowing you. That the true blessing is having a relationship with you. The true blessing is being able to praise and worship you. To be able to call you our personal Lord and Savior. That is the true blessing. So Lord, may we not allow the world, may we not allow ourselves to get distracted, to allow ourselves to get focused in on the wrong things. May we lay those things aside. May we come back to the heart of the matter. May we come back to the cause of everything, and that is you. Lord, may we make sure that, leave here this morning, may we make sure that there's nothing standing between us and you. Lord, we want a healthy relationship with you. Because, Lord, that is the true blessing, isn't it? Lord, to be able to just be able to have a clear, open, and healthy relationship with you. So Lord, we thank you. Lord, we thank you for everything that you've done. We thank you for this opportunity that you've given us to be able to have a relationship with you, to be able to have and to receive this incredible blessing like none other. and our relationship be deeper and deeper and deeper. While we do this in reading.
Let's stand and sing one last song this morning.